Was this just an ordinary moment in the middle of Tokyo's restless rhythm, or a shocking incident that exposed the most vulnerable side of two global superstars? Why did a situation that seemed under control suddenly shift within seconds into tension, whispered panic, and unusually guarded glances? And the question that makes hearts race the most: what really happened when a Sasaeng dared to cross the line and approach Kim Taehyung and Jungkook at an almost unthinkable distance? Tokyo, a city known for its fast pace, endless neon lights, and disciplined culture, suddenly became the backdrop of an incident now shaking the global fan community. No one was truly prepared for it. Even those who follow every detail about their favorite idols never imagined that a brief moment, captured in just a few seconds, would leave behind so many questions, speculations, and overwhelming emotions. That night, everything seemed normal. The streets were not overly crowded, vehicles moved in an orderly flow, and people were busy with their own routines. Yet within that calm, a sleek black luxury car slowly pulled over to the side of the road. The door opened, and in an instant, a nearby camera shifted its focus toward a single point. Wearing a black hoodie that partially covered his head, a black baseball cap pulled low, and a black cloth mask concealing most of his face, he looked like someone trying to avoid attention. But therein lies the paradox. The more he tried to appear ordinary, the harder it was to ignore his presence. He walked quickly, almost in a hurry, as if time was something he could not afford to waste. A simple backpack hung over his shoulder, contrasting sharply with his image as a global superstar. Several frames of the video revealed something unusual. Very subtle, almost unnoticeable unless carefully observed. Jungkook turned his head. It wasn't just a reflex. That glance felt different, sharper, more alert, as if he had sensed something was off. That question instantly became the center of attention. Because only seconds later, the situation changed. Elsewhere, Taehyung was also seen not far from the scene. Although not all frames clearly showed his face, his presence was confirmed by several sources at the location. He appeared accompanied by staff, walking at a relatively calm pace. But that calm did not last long. Not just an ordinary fan politely asking for a photo or autograph. This was different. The movement was fast, unexpected, and most strikingly, it seemed like this person had already known their exact location. Many later suspected that this individual was a Sasaeng, an extreme type of fan known for violating idols' privacy for personal satisfaction. Several people immediately moved quickly, attempting to block and create space between the idols and the individual. The atmosphere, once calm, turned tense. The camera recording the moment shook slightly, as if even the person holding it was startled by what was unfolding. Instead of panicking or openly showing anger, both displayed something difficult to put into words. Jungkook, who had been walking quickly, suddenly paused for a brief moment. His gaze returned toward the source of the disturbance. There was a pause. Short, yet it felt long to anyone watching. Was that a sign of courage? Or a hidden layer of concern? Meanwhile, Taehyung's reaction was more subtle. He didn't move much, but his expression changed. From calm to serious. There was something in his eyes, something that made many fans feel he was holding back his emotions. Was he angry? Or was he worried about the safety of those around him? What made the situation even more complex was how both of them tried to maintain professionalism under sudden pressure. There were no shouts, no exaggerated dramatic actions. Yet within that restraint, the tension became even more palpable. Moments later, the staff managed to regain control. The Sasaeng was pushed away, and the area was secured again. Jungkook quickly entered the car, followed by the others. The door shut. The vehicle drove off, leaving behind a location now filled with whispers and speculation. How could someone know their location so precisely? Was this mere coincidence? Or was there a deeper leak of information? And most concerning of all, could this happen again? On social media, fan reactions exploded. The short clip was replayed countless times, analyzed frame by frame, as if every tiny detail might reveal a hidden clue. Many expressed concern. not only for Taehyung and Jungkook, but for everyone involved. Some even noticed things previously overlooked, like how Jungkook seemed to grip his bag a little tighter as he glanced back, or how Taehyung slightly slowed his pace, as if trying to ensure the situation around him was safe. These small details might seem trivial, but within the context of the incident, they became deeply significant because they revealed one undeniable truth: that behind the glamorous image and seemingly perfect lives, there exists a far more complex and risky reality. The Sasaeng phenomenon is not new in the K-pop world, but every incident carries a different weight, depending on the circumstances. And in this case, many felt something was different, something more serious. Perhaps because the incident occurred outside of Korea, suggesting that Sasaeng reach is becoming more global. Or perhaps because of how bold, almost reckless, the approach felt. What is certain is that this incident has reignited discussions about the boundary between fans and privacy. Where should that line be drawn? And why do some still choose to cross it, despite the risks involved? At the same time, many praised how Taehyung and Jungkook handled the situation. In less than ideal conditions, they managed to remain calm and composed, demonstrating not only professionalism but maturity, because sometimes what is visible on the outside does not reflect what is felt inside. A brief glance, a subtle pause, a shift in expression, these can all be signs of something much greater. Tokyo has returned to normal. The lights continue to shine, the streets remain busy, and life goes on. But for those who witnessed or learned about this moment, something has changed. That behind every seemingly simple moment, there may be a much deeper story. A story of pressure, of boundaries being crossed, and of standing strong even when the world suddenly feels unsafe. And yet, as the video continued to circulate, something even more unsettling began to emerge, not from what was clearly visible, but from what felt almost hidden between the frames. Why did that moment linger longer than expected? Why did Jungkook's brief pause feel heavier upon repeated viewing, as if it carried an unspoken message? And why did Taehyung's composed demeanor leave behind a strange sense of unease rather than reassurance? Those who replayed the footage over and over again began to notice patterns, not definitive answers, but fragments of possibility. The way the staff reacted almost instantly suggested this wasn't entirely unexpected. Their movements were too precise, too coordinated, as if they had rehearsed this kind of scenario before. Did that mean they had anticipated a breach like this? Or worse, had something similar already happened? Unnoticed by the public eye, speculation intensified when viewers pointed out the positioning of the vehicles. The black car Jungkook entered was not randomly placed. It was aligned in a way that allowed for a quick exit, minimizing exposure time. This detail, while subtle, sparked another wave of questions. Was this standard protocol for high-profile artists? Or had there been prior warnings that made such precautions necessary that night? As the narrative unfolded across social platforms, emotions grew increasingly divided. Some expressed anger, demanding stricter measures to protect artists from invasive behavior. Others felt a deep sense of sadness, realizing that even in moments of supposed privacy, idols could not fully escape the watchful eyes of those who refused to respect boundaries. But among all these reactions, one sentiment stood out the most: fear. Not just fear for what had already happened, but for what could happen next. Because if someone could get that close once, what would stop it from happening again? Behind the scenes, there were whispers, unconfirmed, yet persistent. Some claimed that the individual had been seen lingering around the area long before the idols arrived. Others suggested that certain flight or schedule details might have been leaked, intentionally or otherwise. None of these claims were verified, yet they added layers of complexity to an already troubling situation. And then there was the silence, no immediate official statement. No direct acknowledgement, just a void where answers should have been. Jungkook's expression in that fleeting glance became a focal point of analysis. There was something in his eyes, not fear exactly, but awareness. A sharpness that suggested he had registered the situation faster than most. It wasn't the reaction of someone caught off guard, but of someone who understood the risks all too well. Taehyung, on the other hand, seemed to carry a different kind of weight. His calmness, while admirable, felt layered, almost as if beneath that composed exterior was a deliberate effort to keep the situation from escalating further. Some fans interpreted it as strength. Others saw it as restraint, and perhaps both were true. What remained undeniable was the emotional impact of the incident, not just on those directly involved, but on millions watching from afar. It shattered, even if only briefly, the illusion of distance that often exists between idols and the realities they face. It reminded everyone that behind the performances, the accolades, and the global fame, there are moments of vulnerability that cannot be staged or controlled. Tokyo, in all its brilliance, had become the setting of a reminder, one that was as uncomfortable as it was necessary, because in a world where access is easier than ever, where information travels faster than thought, the line between admiration and intrusion can blur dangerously. And when that line is crossed, the consequences